What's up, guys? Cocojobro here, and welcome to another video of Dead by Daylight. In today's video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going over one great tip for you to survive against every single killer in the game. So this is up to the Nemesis, who just recently came out. So let's get right into it. So with the Trapper, what you want to do is you want to avoid running through grass, and also too you want to avoid the basement at all costs too as well. Normally trappers like to set up their traps around basements. They set up their web. Once they get one person in, then they kind of start to get territorial. So stay away from grassy areas, especially around loops. Or if you didn't know too, if you're injured, you can actually dead hard over traps if the killers put the traps at the pallets. So watch out for that. With the Wraith, one of the sneaky strategies you can do is actually camping a window, especially in Killer Shack, because it takes the Wraith a couple of seconds to ring his bell and uncloak. And so right when he's about to uncloak, you can actually jump through the window and then jump back if the killer is very persistent. Also too, if the killer cloaks, then you actually continue to be able to vault through windows. If you don't know, you can only vault through a window 3 times before it gets blocked. But if the killer cloaks, then the chase ends and it resets the window. So try to look out for that, or try to just make a good educated guess where he's coming from once he rings his bell. For Hillbilly, you want to play around certain loops, not short loops, but you want to play around like T&L wall loops and try to get through windows faster than the Hillbilly can rev his chainsaw. It takes about 2 to 2.5 seconds for the killer to be able to rev his chainsaw and chase you. So one of the good things that you can do is get distance when they're doing it. If you have a good connection, or if you know what the connection is when you get hit, try to time your pallet stuns on the killer instead of letting him just chainsaw and you drop it and then he just chainsaws, because it doesn't get you distance. So either try to pallet stun or just try to run and get through those windows as fast as you can. With the nurses play 2 different ways. They'll either blink to where they last saw you, or they'll blink and try to predict where you're going to be. So like if you're running around Killer Shack and you run and you turn the corner, some nurses will try to blink ahead of you. Other nurses will blink right at the corner so that they can see where you're going, or if you're going to double back. So some nurses you can double back. Try to switch it up, like your playstyle. If you do double back, next time maybe run straight. Next time maybe run straight, double back. Like just mess with the killer so that they can never get a read on you. With the Huntress, you want to avoid running through windows or very narrow hallways or pallets that are kind of narrow, like 4 lanes if you've seen them in the Azeroth or the Records yard. Also too, you can get a lot of loops around short loops. So if you just keep running around and around and around, some Huntress will rev up their chain or their hatchet, and if you do that, then you've bought yourself an extra loop or 2. And then you just want to throw your pallets down early, because most of the time people will run, get chased, and then they'll throw their pallets, and that's enough time for the Huntress to ready up and throw her hatchet right at your head. So try to throw your pallets early, or just keep running and break line of sight with her. With Michael Myers, keep yourself on the lookout. Run Spine Chilled. Any of these cloaked killers like Ghostface, or even the Wraith, run Spine Chilled. But always just keep an eye out whenever you're on gens. A lot of like new players just focus on the skill checks, where you should be focusing on where the killer's coming from. And especially with stealth killers, they'll be able to sneak up on you. But if you're very vigilant with your eyes, then you can actually spot these killers right away. And then just break line of sight with him, because he's always going to stalk you. With the Hag, if you could see right here, this is what her traps look like on the ground. So try to look out for these, but on dark maps like the swamp maps, or maybe on certain like the Records Yard maps, it's kind of hard to see her traps. If you have a flashlight and you click your flashlight, if there's a trap in the vicinity, it'll actually pop up for you. It'll be like a yellow triangle, and then you'll know, okay, just use your flashlight to disarm it. Another really smart play style is when the killer is holding one of your friends on the shoulders, run over all the traps that you know are in the area. She cannot teleport while she's carrying a survivor, and that will mess up her network, and she runs at 110%, so that will really frustrate her. With the doctor, you want to drop your pellets early, or if you know he's going to charge, just commit to those windows or commit to those vaults, because if he shocks you while you're in the animation, or you're locked in the vault animation and you're locked in jumping over the windows or whatever, then he can't stop you from jumping over. If you do get shocked, you get shocked, and you can't use dead hard. You can't jump over vaults for 2 seconds. So keep that in mind. If you do get shocked, maybe just keep holding W, or just commit to the window once you beat him before he shocks you. With Bubba, try to avoid playing around the basement, because a lot of Bubbas are known to camp the basement, and since they chainsaw horizontally, they can chop down multiple survivors, versus Billy, he can only chop one survivor at a time or insta down them. So you want to avoid playing around the basement. Maybe do gens that are not near the basement, or if you can get gens done at the basement while the killer's not near, that's really advantageous for you guys too. So they like to camp as well, so try to run DS, Unbreakable, flashlights, borrow time. With Freddy, a really good perk is called Repressed Alliance. It's a Cheryl perk. It blocks the generators. Most Freddys, they'll run Pop Goes the Weasel. They'll use barbecue to know what gens are being worked on, and then what they'll do from there is they'll teleport to that gen. If you use Repressed Alliance, then you can stop him from ever even using his power, and it's a waste of a teleport. Also too, while your friends are maybe in chase, or while he's carrying someone, same with the hag, run over his puddles around. Or if you see a fake pallet being put up, or if you know which pallets are fake, then drop those pallets so that he can't use those to mind game someone later on. With the pig's really easy. Just do generators before she can put a trap on someone's head. If you're in a Swift, maybe you can coordinate where you don't finish a gen and maybe 99 it, so that your friend gets a head start on doing the games if they have a trap on their head. If you put a trap on their head, they have like 2.5 minutes before they die. So if you can maybe not do a gen so it doesn't trigger their hats and gives them enough time to get the trap off, then that should help out a lot. With Clown, sometimes it's just best to just throw down your pallets early or abandon the loop. Most clowns will throw a bottle at the one end of a loop and at the other end of a loop, and then they will try to corral you into the smoke. If you have really good eyes, you can see through all of that distortion if you do run through it, and you'll know which side the killer is coming from. Sometimes they'll push you into the smoke, and then they'll swoop around the other way, and while you're committing to throwing the pallet on one side, and then they'll meet you on that same side. So if you have good eyes, you know, just keep the loop going, but if you don't, just abandon the loop and make him waste his bottles. With the Spirit, Iron Will works really well if they're running Strider. That might mess you up, but with the new Strider that's coming on, Iron Will completely cancels that. One thing that you can do is run Lucky Break as well. It helps you to remove your scratch marks in your blood. Iron Will remove your grunts of pain, so you become completely like invisible while she's phasing. One thing you can also do is run your scratch marks in one direction and then either go left or right and walk that way. Try to avoid grass because she could still see the grass moving if you are if she's phasing. With Legion, the best thing you can do is not group up. To frustrate a Legion, all they are is just an M1 killer, like a basic attack killer. So if they use their power, then they'll know where other survivors are. But if you're by yourself in no man's land and they use Feral Frenzy, there's no one else for them to chase. Like, there's literally no one else to chase. So they can't really use their power. So that's a really good way to counter the Legion. With Plague, there's two ways you can play against her. If you have a really good team, one thing that you guys want to do is not use the pools of devotion, because if you use the pools of devotion, then she gets her power, which is like a super soaker stream of blood that she can down you really well if it's a good Plague. Run perks like Resilience, Dead Hard, because if you're already going to be injured, that might help just allow you to continue the chases. Lithe, frustrating a Plague and they can't use their power, and all they're doing is just becoming an M1 killer like the Legion. It just really frustrates them. With Ghostface, if your friend is getting chased and the Ghostface is cloaked, one really good thing you can do is like just be a hawk and uncloak him while he's chasing someone, because some ghost faces really rely on their power and that surprise, that element of surprise, to sneak up on someone. So if you see your friend getting looped and then he cloaks, just uncloak him, because it takes about 16 seconds. I believe 30 seconds is the max, if he has no add-ons, to get his power back. So that's 30 seconds of him not using his power. He's just another M1 killer. So it's really, really, really helpful if you do that. With Demogorgon, the main thing you want to do is the same like with Huntress, is avoid funnels, avoid windows, because Demo's lunge or shred is actually really, really, really fast and strong. If you do see the little portals, sometimes it is really strong to either rush gens and not give the demo a chance to put down portals, or if he does have portals set up, remove them so he can't travel across the map fast enough. It's really, really, really good for you to do that, because then they get frustrated and they can only walk around from point A to point B. With Oni, the best thing you could do with Oni is deny him his first hit for the longest that you can. Oni's power is reliant on people being injured and him sucking their blood orbs once they're on the map. If you're injured, you leave blood orbs. You leave 2 of them. I think it's every 5 seconds. And if he can't use his power, if he can't suck up any blood, he can't get his power up, and then he can't insta down or travel the map fast. So as long as you slow down his beginning approach, then you guys should have a good chance of winning. With Deathslinger, what's best with Deathslinger is most Deathslingers are really good at shooting, because it's just another FPS shooter, first person shooter killer. So if you wiggle left and right, sometimes that can cause the killer to feel very unconfident in shooting you. But if it's a really good Deathslinger, then it's not gonna matter. It won't matter. They're gonna always hit you. So just try to break line of sight as much as you can and throw down pallets, because if he chains you in and reels you in while there's a pallet, he can't hit you. But if he chains you in at a window, then he can hit you. So definitely just try to break line of sight and then throw down those pallets early. With the Executioner, you can crawl over, or you can crouch over his trails of torment, but also too, he counters DS, so maybe not running DS on this killer is really good. Trying to if you are tormented, try to find people who are in cages, because that removes your torment and your friend's torment as well, so he can't just send you into a cage or final judgment you. And again, just try to avoid his trails, abandoned loops, just keep on running. And maybe if you're lucky, you can pallet stun them, like slow down at the pallet, because then usually they'll throw their knife into the ground and then use it on you while you're throwing the pallet down. Maybe you can juke them and fake them at windows too as well, because most of the time they like to get you at windows. And try not to unsave or unhook your friends in front of a pyramid head, because they'll just get a double hit on you guys. With blights suck at loops like TNL walls, because they require to bounce off of walls. So for a blight, you want to take them around maybe circular loops, or maybe short loops, because they can't ping pong off of something. They have to just continue to chase you. So try to take them to a TNL wall where they can't really get an angle, or try to get objects in your way, and keep looking at them too, because they'll try to come at one side and you can move over to the other side and mess up their alignment. So that frustrates them a lot. With the twins, buddy system is really, 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 really strong with this. What you want to do is, while someone's getting chased by Victor, if they get down, or if Victor misses, then your friend can kick Victor, or if your Victor does down your friend, then the other person can kick Victor. You can also keep Victor hostage, so then Charlotte can't bring Victor back. as fast enough. If you kill Victor by yourself, then he'll come back fast. If you hold on to him, I think you can hold on to him for a minute, and then it automatically goes back to Charlotte. So you can slow her down. But buddy system, running resilience, they like to slug. So if you run, we're gonna live forever. Maybe bring med kits, unbreakable. That's what really counters a twins player. With the trickster, breaking line of sight is super important. Getting away from him very fast is important. Maybe sprint burst will be really good. Breaking distance using loops where he can't throw his knives fast enough. The new trickster that's coming out will be reduced to 6 knives, so 6 knives will be able to take you out versus the 8 that is his standard right now. So just trying to get those gens done. He's a slow killer. He's a 110% killer. So you try to use that to your advantage, and just try the same thing with Huntress and Deathslinger. Break line of sight and get gens done fast as you can. And then finally for Nemesis, one of the big things is also just using the vaccines right away. Some people say like, oh, save them for later. What's the point of vaccinating? If you vaccinate, or if you vaccinate, then he can't use his tentacle to damage you. If you want to be cheeky, you can go up to a zombie and get contaminated, and then he won't get any mutation off of you when he uses his tentacle. If he uses Marvin's blood, he will still get it, but you can deny him that. But mainly just do gens, keep running. Don't throw down pallets if he's already at tier 2. Try to stun him if you can. Also too, if you crouch when the pallet's already down at the higher point, sometimes the priority is the pallet versus you, so he'll break the pallet versus hitting you. So yeah, but that's all my tips and tricks for you guys. Hopefully this helps you guys with all the killers. Maybe this will improve your gameplay just a little bit. And if you guys have any tips or tricks for me to know, or tell anyone in the audience or the comment section below, then definitely just feel free to comment down what's your strategy on beating some of these killers, because I would love to know some of those things to improve even my gameplay. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and we will see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye.